Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, November 19th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we are looking at ONDS. Big mover not only today, but the past few days. But just to point out something that I talked about in a previous video, and that was the $6 mark as support. Did a fantastic job of holding there. And then you can see today, ultimately, very nice move all the way back up, which brings us to another very interesting level now. And that has to do with this area of resistance right here at $7, and we'll call it 87 cents, give or take a little bit. Going back to the history of things, you can see that was the high that I got from last week. And then right here, actually got slightly above it, but generally speaking, that level here is still indeed holding as resistance. So that's not to say that 787 can never be broken. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price is currently struggling at that area. And moving into Wednesday, that is, at least in my opinion, the big talking point is, can the price finally get enough strength to break above 787 and then most importantly stay up above it? Because again, to be fair, in this situation, the price actually did slightly get above it. But when it came to being able to stay above it, that's where the price couldn't quite do it. But no doubt about it, knocking on the door of 787. So yeah, headed into Wednesday, can the price get the true breakout of that level? Grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens. Next one here, SOXS, and we're looking at a good quality pattern here. So let's get this pattern first drawn into play. So let's get the resistance portion of it there. Let's get now the support part of it, this lower trend line right here. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then just to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all one color. So again, we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have this nice upwards move right there. And then for you golfers out there, let me put the golf hole down here, make it a little bit more visual. And this would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, let me be very clear. Just because this is a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed if the price comes up here and breaks through there, that break right there is going to create upside buying pressure. But my point here is it at least a valid scenario? Is it at least a possible, outcome if there was some sort of break? Absolutely. So again, guarantee, no. But a valid question to throw out there, absolutely. So if you like this price range down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, CANF. Very, very ugly looking chart, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. And what makes this interesting is the fact that, yes, first off, it was ugly. To think that there was a gap up, the price went all the way up there, and also think that there were some poor souls that were buying up around there. Hopefully they were using stop losses. But after that, very nasty move. And now what makes this interesting here is the price has at least started to go sideways. And not only that, where it started to go sideways, right at that purple line, makes you go, Now, I wish I could say trading was this easy. But just because there is this big, nasty pullback, and now just because the price going sideways, does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. My point here is it's a valid question to throw out there. Case in point, let's just say the price came down and it was still doing this, and then I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be a bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, well, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally still just going straight down. Well, that's not the case here, right? It has at least started to go sideways. Once more, that does not guarantee that this is the bottom, but it makes it a lot more plausible. So these are definitely situations where you better be disciplined, you better honor stops because you don't want to turn yourself into a bag holder. But from a risk-reward scenario, if you do get a bounce, then relative to what was being risked, the upside potential reward could make a whole lot of sense. So if you like penny stocks, and if you like these situations where you have kind of the opportunity and the ugly, then keep an eye on it. Next one here, BBAI. Very, very nice move, especially when you consider that not that long ago, the price was down here. Now all of a sudden the price has worked its way all the way up there. So good solid bounce. It still has work to do, but certainly a lot better than where it was overall. And an area of support that I would consider not necessarily a do or die, but pretty important, is down here at that level of 575. Why is 575 important? And I'm not saying this will occur, but just for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down to that level and then break down below it, what would you have at that point in time? You would have the price having gone right back to where it was. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make great moves and then go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine power. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that is why, in my opinion, that 575 mark over here, definitely a very important level to keep an eye on. In terms of areas of resistance, and I made a comment earlier about more work that needs to be done, the next bit of quote-unquote work is going to be getting up above that pink line there, that 200 period 7 moving average key area of resistance right now valued at 623. But anyway, look at it. Good solid bounce, but let's see if the price can continue to show those signs of progress by building higher lows as time continues to play out. Next one here, PLUG, same general idea of what I just talked about. Overall, very impressive when you consider that at the start of the day, the price was all the way down there, and now it's all the way down there. So good solid movement, but now we just need to kind of keep an eye on things and see if the price can show those signs of progress by building higher bases. And that is where, in my opinion, this level right here at $2.10 comes into play. If the price were to come down here and break down below it, as just discussed, all of a sudden that puts the price right back to where it was, and that's just not a sign of genuine power. You want to see at least progress being made, and in this situation, quote unquote, progress being made, being defined as staying up above that 209 and or $2.10 mark right around there. Because if the price were to come down here, do something like that, and then work its way back upwards, you do indeed have progress, right? You'd have a set of lows there, you'd have that low, and if you envision those as stair steps, there is your progress in the upwards direction. On the flip side of things, in terms of areas of resistance, all about the purple line right now, that 50-period moving average, you can see right there, price got rejected by it. So current value of that right up around $2.28. But anyway, look at it. Very nice bounce off the lows, but let's see if the price can continue to build upon it in the coming days. Real quick, want to take a break and help you solve a very common problem that maybe pertains to you, and that is the desire to be a day trader, meaning having unlimited day trades every day, not 3 every 5 days, which is what happens under the pattern day trader rule. And that is where, if that is you, there are better ways to go about, the market. And there are ways to go about this in a very risk-controlled type of way. Now, I do understand if all this sounds a little too good to be true, what's the catch? Which is why I invite you to the live stream. I start every day at 11 a.m. Eastern, and I go for a few hours. And you can see all this right before your very own eyes and interact with me, ask me any sort of questions you have about it. But please do not think that you have to trade the sorts of stocks that you may be trading because you're trapped under the pattern day trading rule and you got to grow your account. You don't have to do any of that. You can skip it by going to another market where there is no pattern day trading rule. And quite frankly, it moves way better than the stock market anyway. So like I said, if that sounds of interest, then swing by the live stream and see it with your very own eyes. Next one here, OPEN, and overall, good solid recovery from these lows, both here and then this rolled over, but actually did build a higher base. And then from both those areas may then move upwards. And then as I speak, and again, this is why I like to use when the markets are open, but check out the last 30 minutes here. Good solid green candle, but it is at a very interesting level as far as the chart is concerned. Reason number one, it's actually slightly above that pink line, but we'll see how it continues to behave. But that pink line there, that 200-period moving average, you can see smacked it down twice before. Current value of that at 770. But also, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, hopefully remember me talking about that overall resistance trend line right there. And you can see again, as I zoom back in, the price actually just bumped its head right on it. But overall, the price is knocking on the door, and it now creates a very interesting scenario headed into Wednesday. Is this thing going to break out? And then the second layer to that question is, if it does break out, will that be the start of something even bigger where you get that much more momentum? So anyway, look at it. Exciting dynamics here given the nature of where the price is currently at. So yes, nice bounce. It's knocking on those doors. Can it break through? And if so, does that create more upside buying pressure? Let's see what happens on Wednesday. Next one, OLMA, and actually very interesting just because it's very clean cut. I don't profess any of this to be great discoveries on my part. I think a lot of people are going to be watching these dynamics, and I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. And in my mind, a lot of people have drawn a level very similar to that, where they just kind of draw on that little trend line, and they're watching that as a potential breakout point. Once more, that does not guarantee anything, but in my mind, it makes it more than valid to think that if the price can curl back upwards, get up to that level and break through it, that break right there, valid question to throw out there as a possibility of breaking through there and then creating upside buying pressure. In terms of areas of support, if there is some sort of pullback here, then right around here, give or take the $19 mark. It's not exact, but you can see right here, a couple of general area found support. Right there, found support. So if it comes back down here again, does that mean for sure guaranteed it'll find support? Of course not, no guarantees, but is it at least plausible that it might find support and might get another bounce? Absolutely, so keep an eye on 19 from that regard. But in my opinion, I think the most interesting dynamic is, can the price curl back up and can it get a break through that level? And if so, does that generate more upside buying pressure? We'll see what happens. Next one here, NVDA, and NVDA has earnings very, very soon. So it's one of these things where, any of these levels could change pretty quickly. But as of right now, the level right here at 185 was doing a good job of holding that support. But with a gap down this morning, just basic technical analysis, levels of support tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted move back upwards, whether that's the earnings or just any other sort of kind of market reasons, 185.20 is now going to be that initial area of resistance. Even if the price breaks above there, I wouldn't get that excited because not that far away. You do have the purple line right there, that 50-period moving average. You can see over here presented some problems. And the current value of that right now, right around 186.15. In terms of areas of support, key level in my mind to watch moving into the future here, right here at this level, give or take around the 180.50. You can actually see this was a low right here. And it wasn't exact today, but broadly speaking, earlier on in the day, that general area at 180.50 did do a good job of eventually providing support. But yes, with earnings coming, some of this stuff you want to take a grain of salt, but these levels can still serve as guides to potentially put together trade plans and gauge the movement with any sort of earnings. Next one here, MSTU, and I already talked about this pattern earlier, so I'm going to go through this a little quicker as I want to respect your time as much as possible and not sit here and just repeat and beat the dead horse. So there we go. Let's just get this in a play, and then let me keep it the same color to make sure we all are seeing it. So there's our area of resistance. There's our area of support. There is the very impressive move from today. And then again, let's get the golf hole down here. So we're looking at another bull pennant pattern. Once more, just because it's bullish does not mean that if the price comes up here and breaks through it, that there's going to be a big break, but it's certainly a more than valid question to throw out there as a possibility. So if you like this price range, you like these sorts of ETFs, then definitely keep an eye on the bull pennant. Next one here, TSLA. And overall, nothing really happened. Now, from a day trader standpoint, I understand. That sounds crazy. What are you talking about, Clay? Nothing happened. There's this big gap down, and then this big move up, and then it kind of pulled back a little bit, and it's just hanging out. That is all true. But from a bigger picture standpoint, and this will mean more if you watch past videos, then the price is essentially not exactly, but basically right in the middle of this sideways channel that I've already been talking about. We have the 414 mark right here as the top part of the channel, area of resistance. And then down here, we have the bottom part of the channel, the support, at right around 396.50. So from that angle, the price is just, like I said, essentially still right in the middle of the overall channel. Now, in the near term and within the channel, the level here that is really standing out after today is that purple line there, that 50-period moving average behaving as resistance. You can see right there, rejected the price. Right there, rejected the price. So if the price comes up here, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it will reject the price. But my other point is, before you really put any emphasis at all of doing battle and breaking that 414 mark, the bulls in the near term, first, bare minimum, need to at least be able to show that they can get back above that purple line there, current value at 406.25. But yes, overall, taking a step back, Tesla is basically right in the middle of the sideways channel that I've been talking about over the past few days. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you're sick and tired of that pattern day trend rule, or maybe you just want a different market, you want to have less of your capital at risk, but have a whole lot of upside potential, then definitely check out what I've been doing. I understand this all sounds maybe a little too shady. What's the catch? All that, which is why I say, come see it with your very own eyes. I put my money where my mouth is. It is exactly what I've been doing. And like I said, you can come see it and ask me any sort of questions if you have them. So hopefully I'll see you on the live stream. But thanks for watching. Take care. And everybody have a good rest of your day.